Hey guys, Jeffrey's here and welcome to episode 8 of my PES 2013 Master League career as Jeffrey's United. In the last game, you saw I improved on the 0-0 draw from the game before and I won 3-0 with two fantastic strikes from Liberté de Le Monde and another goal from somebody. Something's telling me Drusen, but I don't think it was. Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I'm sure someone will tell me. But yeah, we improved on the result. Everything's going swimmingly well at the moment, apart from the fact that we're about 6 points behind the leaders. Actually, that's not physically possible. Basically, we drew our first two matches, and then we won the third one. So now things have sort of turned the corner a little bit, but we are still behind in terms of the league. So again, I decided to take control as we play our fourth match against a team who I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. But before that, I thought I'd have a look at transfer targets again. You saw from the first few videos in the transfer window how difficult it is to sign players when you're in D2. So what I thought I'd do is, sort of start the season, get the season underway, get a couple of results under my belt, and then have another go at trying to sign a different batch of players in the hope that maybe they would be interested instead. Sometimes this method works, sometimes it doesn't work. The only way of really finding out if it will work on it is to try it. Because you can surprise yourself. You might think you're never going to sign someone, and the next thing you know, you've got them on a 5-year deal. Which, that's the holy grail in some respects. You want to get the best players on long-term deals. You also want to get the best players. So the fact that you can actually convince them to drop down a division to your team is quite an achievement in some cases. So yeah, we are playing this fourth match of the season against the team who I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, because I don't want to offend people or injure myself in any way, shape or form. All I do know is our away kit is definitely getting a good showing in this match, and some people might say it's garish. I think the green is a little too bright and the purple is maybe a little too dark, but overall I'm happy with the kit. You might have noticed from a few of my other videos that I'm a fan of stripes. I've told the story about why the home kit is blue and red stripes. For those of you that don't know, drop back about 2 or 3 videos, maybe even 4 videos. I can't remember what episode I've mentioned it in. The away kit was just I chose 2 random colours that went together, and green and purple go together quite nicely. So and the yellow is just a filler. It's just a random colour I chose because yellow kind of goes with green. But yeah, enough time wasting. I've filled the gap in the pre-match build-ups, and it's time to play some football. So here we go. Now, I will point out at this stage that, well, I said it in my last video, and I said it in the videos, a couple of videos before, and I've had the same problem with my FIFA career. I am finding it more and more difficult to do commentary on these games without physically just doing commentary, as it were. I try to avoid that. I try and talk about different topics. I try and have a discussion about other areas of the game, and little bits and pieces like that, instead of focusing on the actual match that's in play, because there's not always things to talk about. A lot of the time there's nothing to talk about. You're just sitting there watching in silence. And if you watch real football matches, you'll see that as well. They sit in silence. And I decided very early on in making these videos that that's not very entertaining. Not that I needed to think that anyway. I know for a fact it's not very entertaining. So I try and fill the time by talking about other things. But like I said, it's getting a bit difficult. There's not much to talk about at the moment. All I can do really is talk about players and future plans and things like that. Actually, thinking about future plans, I was going to mention this in other videos, but I'll mention it now. Sort of like a special exclusive. When the next generation of games come out, so PES 2014, FIFA 14, and Football Manager 2014, especially on PES and Football Manager, I'm going to be creating my own teams from scratch again. The reason being that, from what I know, there's not that many people that do that as a thing. They might do that in private, on their own private games, but in terms of video making, not many people do that. So I think it sort of sets me out from the rest. I like making my own team. I like the idea of starting from the bottom and working to the top, which is exactly what would happen if I were to make my own team. Especially on Football Manager, I would start in the bottom division, so I can't remember who they're sponsored by now, but the Conference South. And obviously on Master League on PES, I'll be starting in D2, trying to get my way to the top, into the Champions League. When the Champions League, the usual. And on Football Manager, I'll be trying to get into the Premiership and then into the Europa League, Champions League, trying to win that. I will be doing kind of like a random player generation. I will basically just set up a squad, say 20 or so, maybe a few more, 16, 17-year-old players, and just give them random nationalities, random names depending on their nationality, like I've done on this career mode. So I've got players like Orsakowski, who I believe is Russian, and I've got players like Villa, who is Spanish, and I've got players like McGregor, who's obviously Scottish. I've got a couple of Irish guys in there. I think I've got O'Brien in goal, Jones, who is Welsh. I really should know my team by now. I think Grantham is also Scottish. He might be English though. And I've got the obvious one over here. Delamond is Belgian, not French. He is Belgian. He's French-Belgian, so Franco-Belgian. I don't know what they're called. He's from the French part of Belgium, because that's not a very obvious one. And okay, we got Bobo. Pretty obvious. He's from Brazil. Football Manager, I'm going to focus this on mostly because I like making my own teams on Football Manager. I like making the stadiums, and you can have your own coaching staff, and yeah, I definitely prefer that. But then again, on PES, I like being able to see the team that you've actually created. And also you can create your own stadiums on here, as I've done with the Jeffries Arena, which some people might like, some people might not like. But then, I do it to my tastes, and then I hope other people like my tastes. But definitely with Football Manager, I will be doing random player generations, and then I'll just basically build from the bottom, work to the top. I'll build a team with a decent youth academy. Not the best, but a decent one, so that we can also bring our own youth players through and not have to worry about signings. The only thing that I'm worried about is finances, because normally when I do my own created teams, I kind of mini cheat and I give them lots of money. The reason being is that the money is there in case I want to spend it, but I don't have to spend it. Because I'd rather have the money to spend than not have money at all, because then the game gets quite boring. And you end up with a team that's underpaid, undervalued, and underperforming as a result. The other thing I do is I give them a high reputation, because the backstory in my head is like a multi-billionaire has bought a lower league team and is aiming to get them to the top, which can happen. There's nothing in the rules to stop that from happening. And if that were to happen, it would generate a lot of interest. So the reputation of the club would rise, and you'd be able to attract higher valued players as a result of that. So yeah, that's in some ways quite realistic. On PES, obviously you can't get all that set up, so it'll literally just be create a team from scratch, start with the finances they give you, make your own stadium. You have a youth academy anyway because it's built into the game. Start from that. Football Manager, it'll be create a team from scratch. I might actually, having said all this could be quite a clever idea. I might have the players that I create on PES, I might create them also in Football Manager. So I'll have the same two squads, and then it'll be a race to see which of those teams can win the Champions League first. Now that's not a bad idea, having said that. So I think I'll be doing that. Going back to this match for a second. We've had a couple of shots on target, you might have seen. Not that many. It's been another boring game, I think, in fairness, which is why I'm choosing not to talk about the match as much as I possibly can. I've just sort of gone back to it to remind the viewers that there is actually a football match going on in the background. And now going back to what I was really saying before, Football Manager, as I was saying, I will have a custom team with custom manager, custom players, custom youth academy setup, custom finances, custom reputation. Everything will be made from scratch. I will then randomly choose a team in the Conference South to get out of the database in order to put my team in. I haven't settled on a name for the team yet. It will probably end up just being Jeffries United again. I wouldn't mind if people were to comment on my video and say whether that's a good idea or not. It's an idea. It might not actually happen. I would like to think it would happen, because, you know, it's a pretty good idea. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think, and we'll see about getting that done. In the meantime, I suppose we've got just over 10 minutes of this game to go, so I'll start talking about this match again. It is still 0-0. It is still incredibly boring. There's been no more shots on goal really since I said about how many shots there'd been on goal. This is a learning curve. This is when you really learn about how good your team is in matches like this, where, you know, you're pressing for a goal. What sort of avenues can you take in order to get a goal? You might have seen about a minute ago I changed my team to the 4-3-3 formation that I set up in the first video, with the sort of ultra attacking mentality. So you've got Bobo, Beckhold, and Drusen, I think was the third one, spearheading the attack, and then Delamon sitting in the middle of the three behind, which is not a bad place for him actually, because then he can pick up all loose ends and have his shots as well. Whether it works or not, you know, we've got a minute of the match left to find out. You know, Delamond, that's why I like having him in the middle of the park, because he can hit shots like that. The goalkeeper there must be breathing a huge sigh of relief, because he got caught out majorly. The fact that he spun round and was just running back towards his goal, as if it was no urgency, he wasn't trying to save that shot, kind of suggests he knew it was going wide. But then I've seen goalkeepers in the past who've done that and it's actually gone inside their post, and they look a bit of an idiot. I wanted that goalkeeper to look a bit of an idiot, but hasn't quite gone that way. And we are basically in the last minute of added time. There's no sign of a goal. The referee might as well blow his whistle and end this match now. And he does. And it's another 0-0 draw. So again, you know, we've taken, was it 6 points from 4 games, which, okay, you've got at least a point from each game. We remain unbeaten, but the quality of my team, the quality of 2 players in particular, who they don't need naming now, you know who they are, my tactics, my formation, the general play, I really should have had more than 6 points from 4 games. I could have had 12 points from 4 games. You saw in the first match I conceded a last minute equaliser. Second match never got going. Third match, that's the key one, the 3-0 win. That's the one that you would think actually gets us off the ground and rolling. And then we have another 0-0 draw, which you got to then say, what happened between the last game and this game that means we don't even score? Okay, we're not conceding, that's good, we've only conceded 1 goal all season, but then we're not scoring, so we're just dross. Staying level. Got a goal difference of +2, I believe, if I've done my maths right. I think we've only conceded 1 goal all season. But you know, we're in the top half of the table, as you saw, but we could be top of the table. So yeah, improvement definitely needed. Tactics once again might need a little bit of a looking at, although I keep saying that in every video, and I really only change slightly the positions of starting positions anyway of players, to either push them further forward or to drop them further back. The actual 4-2-3-1 formation does work. You get a lot of space out wide. Delamon has a lot of space to float around in. Bobo uses his pace a lot, and you know, just Drusen just hangs around on the edge of the box and waits for the ball to drop to him, pretty much. So yeah, hopefully by the time we come to the next match, the team will be in a better shape, better mentality, and we'll just be ready to kick the opponent's arse, basically. Not much left to say in this video, really. We've got a few seconds left, so I'm going to wrap it up here now, guys, actually. So until next time, I will see you soon.